What's up? What's up? What's up? MOG TV checking in again. Today gonna be speaking on this Kyle Rittenhouse case. This is a young kid who's at the age of 17, and about a year or so ago, when it was violent protest was going on over a black man who was unarmed. He was shot in the back multiple times. Kyle Rittenhouse, he went down to defend some or protect stores from being vandalized, and it's not looking good for this kid, man. He was 17. Just by him being 17, he's unlawful to be able to carry a firearm. So that means, your case is pretty much railroaded right there. It was dozens of men that had firearms that he was with that was defending and protecting stores and their businesses. None of them shot off any shots. You the only ones shot off shots, killing multiple people, shooting multiple people. That makes you look like a maniac. That make you look like a person that was trigger happy and you got blinded by carrying that gun, thinking you was invisible. That's what really is gonna mess his case up. He's facing life in prison. He was 17. He was unlawful to be able to carry that gun, but his defense is going under the concept that it's lawful for him to defend himself with a firearm, but he's unlawfully able to carry it, meaning you had no business going down there in the first place. Should have stayed at home playing your Nintendo game. So now, today, he got business owners whose stores he claimed that he was defending and protecting from looters. They saying they never asked him or never told him to defend their stores. That's another blow in his case. He's in a situation where multiple people shot, multiple people injured, and instead of him trying to leave and get out of it, get off the scene, get in the car, go home, get away because you already committed felonies. Get from down there. He's seen continuously being out there running rampant, being able to shoot other people and kill other people. Instead of the first incident, hey, it's time for me to go, get off the scene. This guy stayed out there, still running around like a maniac, and wind up killing and shooting other people. I think he wind up shooting maybe 3 or 4 people, killing 2 or 3 people. Man, his case ain't looking good because it seems like he allowed his racism to get the best of him, thinking that white is right and he was going to be able to go out there and flex his muscle, but he was under a false racism pretense. He was thinking in a racial mind frame. But he wind up, most of the people that he shot was white people, which is another blow in this case. I mean, it's looking real bad for this young man. He looking at life in prison, and he may even get the death penalty. But just looking at him, he just got that preppy, racial look, of a racist person. Look, he has that look. And then another blow in this case, if he don't get convicted, the courts, the jury know it's going to start another civil unrest. So he got to do some time, on one sense. Now I'm gonna get up the flip side to it. He did have a right to defend himself because with him having that weapon, they was chasing him. Before Elm shot was fired by him, they began to attack him. They was trying to beat him up and take his gun from him. That was unprovoked. He didn't do anything to nobody. I'm just gonna be fair. He didn't do nothing to nobody. They began to talk trash to him and then tried to jump him. A mob of people tried to jump him and take his weapon. He know I cannot get this weapon taken from me because he was going to lose his life if that weapon was taken from him. They could have took that gun and used it on him. So in a way, he had to do what he had to do to defend himself, and he was running away from these people. They chasing him after he, shoot some shots and fire some shots and and strike some people. The mob continued to chase him, continue to try to attack him. He's trying to run away. He got to fire more shots. One video shows him being attacked by the mob. The mob of people. He hits the ground. At that point, I thought he lost the gun, but it's good he had a scrap on the gun that was around his neck. Because if the way he fell, he hit the ground hard and rolled. If he didn't have that gun with the scrap, if he didn't have that scrap on that gun would have flew all across the street, out of his possession. And those angry people would have got it and used it on him. But it's good he had the scrap on the gun around his neck. So when he fell, he's getting attacked now. They ready to, stomp and beat on him. And he had to turn around and use that gun again. So I'm like, man, his case is kind of like, it's in limbo. It can go either way. Because like I say, if they go off the fact that he was acting in self-defense, I mean, it's kind of clear that he had to defend himself because he got a firearm, he got a mob of people running trying to take it from him. They started with him. They instigated the assault on him first. The first person that he shot and killed came behind him, swinging, punching him, trying to take the gun from him. Man, that's clear self-defense. And every time he shot the gun, people was stomping and kicking or trying to punch him or chasing behind him, trying to take the weapon. Now, the sad part about that is the people that you was with, 10, 15, 20 people, and they're there to try to protect business from being looted and broken in, none of them came in his defense to try to stop the mob of people. None of them came in his defense to exchange fire, shots with him. And that's kind of going to hurt him too, because if you're seen on camera first with 10, 15 other grown men, and none of them felt it was reasonable for them to shoot any shots, that make you look like a maniac. So with him, it's going to be rough. And then the DA, the district attorney, the jury, they all know if he don't get convicted, it's going to be another civil unrest, another riot, protest going to break out again. And if he go to prison, man, he ain't going to make it because he already got like a preppy white boy racist look to him. I mean, he in the courtroom with like a little smirk on his face. He don't look like he have a care or a fear in the world that he's going to get convicted and go to jail. He looks like he's going to be able to get off. That's what his face, the expression on his face looks like. And man, they not gonna like that when he gets to everybody in the prison, whatever prison, jail he going to, they can't wait to get him. Now, one thing about him, once he got locked up, people raised $2 million for this man to be able to put in his pocket, pay for get the best legal defense. So, I mean, you know, he got some supporters, some silent supporters. But they should have been supporting him, you know, on that day. It would have been different if somebody else was involved or included with him in his defense out there when the protesters was trying to attack him. That don't make him look like the lone wolf or the maniac running wild through the street. And I mean, man, his case is looking really, really rough. Now, it's said in the courtroom and shown on the video that the first guy was trying to attack him. He shot him, killed him. The second incident shooting was a guy that had a skateboard, swung the skateboard and hit him and knocked him on the ground. And then another guy came up with a handgun. In his hand, it's shown on camera that the guy got a gun. He's standing over him once Rittenhouse hit the ground. Rittenhouse came up. When he seen that guy standing over with the gun drawn, pointing at him, he shot him. He shot the guy that hit him with the skateboard, knocked him down. Then he got a guy standing over him while he on the ground with a gun in his hand. He shot him. So, man, it's looking real like it's in limbo for this guy. It's in limbo for him, man. And I don't know.
We did see him seconds later as a crowd followed a fleeing Rittenhouse down the street.
You said you didn't think the get him was aimed at Mr. Rittenhouse, right?
Yes.
At that moment in time, you didn't think Mr. Rittenhouse shot anybody because he said he didn't shoot anybody, correct?
Correct.
As the crowd caught up, the defense says Anthony Huber swung his skateboard at Rittenhouse, knocking him to the ground, and Gage Grosskreutz, armed with a handgun, hovered over him, and Rittenhouse fired, killing Huber and badly injuring Grosskreutz.
Does it appear to look like the pistol that you located on the ground?
Yes.
Was that gun ready to be fired?
Yes.
Rittenhouse contends he came armed to protect Kenosha businesses, but the owner of the property he stood guard at that night revealed.
Did you give anyone permission to guard or protect any of those three properties?
I did not.
Right now, jurors are currently hearing from the Kenosha police officer who was the first one to respond to that shooting last night. And he just told jurors that the reason he did not believe Kyle Rittenhouse was the shooter, he said while he put his hands up, he didn't drop to his knees as someone typically does when they're surrendering to police. And you can probably hear there are several dozen protesters now marching around the courthouse who just arrived in the last half hour or so. This is the most number of people we've seen outside the court all week, perhaps a sign of what could be coming as this trial heads into its second week.